Hello, I'm Paul Zaychuk. Today we're going to do a third analysis video of a sidekick. Each sidekick analyze is different in its own way. If you want to see the two previous videos, please take a look at the channel top videos. To me, when I see a kick like this, what comes to my mind is when an instructor teaches the turnout above all else. In other words, when an instructor says, when you throw a sidekick, make sure that your toes point away and your heel points to the sidekick, I will often see a sidekick like this under certain conditions. So why does this sidekick look like a person is kicking somebody behind them and not on the side of them? Well, one of the reasons is the turnout has to be there, but it has to be there when the muscles allow it. And in that case, it seems like the body is not exactly prepared to do a full turnout. You would notice that the chest is squared to the floor. This means that if the leg was to move to the side, imagine that you're in a side split. That leg that is on the side of you, it has what's called superimposed turnout. So if you're sitting with your legs in front of you, both legs straight in front of you, and then you move legs out to the side to do the side split, you did a horizontal abduction or horizontal extension, but the turnout is superimposed. And here, turnout is not actually working. If it was working, if it was there, if there was enough strength and flexibility for it, then the body would be on the side and not turn to the floor. So if I was to check the flexibility of the muscles on a standing leg, I would expect adductor magnus, the ischial fibers, and adductor longus to be a little bit tight. Adductor brevis and gracilis and pectineus can also play a role, but not as much. So if I was to test this, I would use Zaychuk stretching techniques for those muscles. Of course, there's always a chance that you would test for flexibility and the muscles are flexible and yet a person is still in this position. If that is the case, perhaps there's no proper awareness to the technique, or the muscles doing the turnout, the one that actually turn the hip out, are not strong enough, especially in those ranges which would be short ranges for them, meaning gluteus maximus and the deep 6 lateral rotators may not be strong enough. Now the kicking leg does not look fully extended. Of course, it can be extended at the knee for most people. I assume there's no problem with the knee, and the reason that the kicking leg is not fully extended here is because of the hip, which means that most likely in this range, some of the hip flexors or some of the upper adductors would be tight, not allowing full extension of the hip. Of course, if this is tested and indeed it's correct, then if the kick is executed this way against the target, the muscles that extend the hip in this range, primarily gluteus maximus, will lack power because it's going to be pulled back by the hip flexors through the reciprocal inhibition. And now finally, let's take a look at the core. If we look at the core, there's no point to even talk about lateral flexion here because the body is not sideways to the kick, and for that reason, if the person was to laterally flex, that would go kind of across the floor instead of going up. So there's no point to get into lateral flexion here, and if a person tried to come up in this position, then they would need to actually hyperextend their spine, which is a completely different kick and not a side kick if that was to be done. So if you're interested in specialized kick development programs for different kicks and for different properties of those kicks or abilities of those kicks such as speed, power, height control, and so on, take a look at elasticsteel.com. I'm Paul Zaychuk. Thank you for watching.